News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a splendid morning to you. This is Newsline. We're live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And this morning our guest is Dr. Ramesh Patrana, representing, of course, the SLPP. He's just arrived in our studios and we're joining us on the set in a minute or so. In the meantime, I will take you through the headlines in one of the papers this morning. It says here, the Ceylon Today, that FDI is down by 61%. And that's Panita Amarasekara is quoting figures from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. And I think at the moment we're ready for Dr. Ramesh Patrana, so we go into a short break, after which we hope to have Dr. Ramesh Patrana with us. The Daily FT tells us that tourism is showcasing a resilient recovery. And the Daily FT also tells us what Anwar Kumar Dissanayake says, and he pledges to lift the country out of poverty and to ensure the equal distribution of wealth. The National People's Power presidential candidate, Mr. Dissanayake, spelt out the economic policies of his party, which he said would lift the country out of poverty and minimize discrepancies with the distribution of wealth. We're still waiting for Dr. Ramesh Patrana. We're waiting for the go-ahead to go for a break. In the meantime, let's... right, here we go. We're going in for a break. Stand by, please, and we'll be with you soon after Dr. Ramesh Patrana joins the set.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Welcome back to Newsline. Very good morning to you again, just in case you missed the start of that. We're joined by our guest this morning, Dr. Ramesh Patrana, who's from the Galle district, and he's right here with us. Dr. Patrana, very good morning to you, and thank you very much for coming all the way from Galle.
Thank you, Faraz.
The roads are a bit challenging.
No, it was actually up to Colombo, it was okay, but unprecedented level of traffic in Colombo town area, maybe because it's a school time.
Indeed. That's the traffic, the challenges on the road this morning. What are the challenges? What's it feel like to be in the election hustings? What are the people, what challenges are you facing there?
Well, actually, historically, southern part of the country has been favoring our campaign. Basically, it's left of center sort of an area. So we had some 106,000 majority in the last election, which was held in February 2018.
Right.
That was a local government election. So we expect that to get better actually, because since 2018 there had been few issues in relation to cost of living, and also about Easter Sunday bombing. Security situation of the country had deteriorated. So we feel that people are supporting more than in 2018.
I see. So so the people who are campaigning down south are happy bunnies, are they?
Well, campaigning had been very peaceful actually. Elections become better and better in Sri Lankan context now.
What are the people asking for? What are they saying to you as a politician? What do they want?
No, basically they need the economic reliefs. So the people want country to develop faster and also to have a better economy. Plus the overall economic situation would be enhanced if the country's security situation is safeguarded. So there, one concern is the security, second is the economy.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Whilst they're talking of the economy, how real and how high is the concern of the people, in the non-urban areas? How concerned are they? Are they aware? Are they really concerned about the security thing, or do they take it almost as granted?
No, they've not taken it granted because of this Easter Sunday bombing. It's not a long time actually. People tend to forget after about a year or so.
Yeah.
But for the time being, ours is an area highly dependent on tourism. So it was very badly affected after April. So the bookings went down dramatically. Now it's picking up. It's picking up, as you mentioned short while ago. But but people are still not happy about what's happening.
Indeed.
It's what they had published. Statistically, economic growth rates have gone down to 2% or less than 2%. Means you understand the ground reality when you go there. I think main concern was this government when they came into power, they neglected the agricultural sector. Even though the contribution to the GDP is less, it's about 8%, but some 4 million people are directly contributing, and they are depending on the agricultural sector of this country.
And,
so with the
and
cutting of the fertilizer subsidy,
yeah.
all crops.
Do you think the Minister, young Duminda Dissanayake, could have done more for agriculture rather than fight about his office building?
Well, truly, I believe so. I believe so. So, and also he made a remark in relation to paddy harvest. So we had a surplus in 2015. So he requested people not to go ahead, cultivating paddy. That affected, so that and said that spiral effect of that, and also cutting subsidy affected tea industry very badly. So they banned glyphosate.
Yeah.
And also affected the livelihood of people, especially in down south, our area.
And what about the crops like cinnamon and so on, rubber?
It's a very serious issue actually. Cinnamon prices skyrocketed about 7 months ago. So the people had paid about say 2,100 rupees per kg. It had gone down to 1,100. Unbelievably, it's half of the price that we used to see about a year ago.
And so is the export, because it's mainly exports, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So the exports are down as well then.
Yes, exports are down, and pepper is also very badly affected.
These market world, sort of global conditions, or?
Well, there's a popular belief it's because of the re-export is taking place. People import from Vietnam.
And but that's not the real thing, though, is it?
Well, it's partly true, actually. Partly
true. I mean, the
but
product.
it's in relation to cinnamon. It's not true, I believe.
Yeah.
But in relation to pepper, possibly it's true because it is popularly believed.
The Sri Lankan pepper.
Yeah, sure.
The Sri Lankan
cinnamon
is almost unique.
It's unique identity, yes, because it's cashew from China.
Yeah.
You can't, cashew can't substitute Sri Lankan cinnamon. But under dubious circumstances, the prices had gone down. It has crashed, So it's very badly affected.
Now then, obviously, all eyes, ears, and everything else is pointed towards the 16th of November, when hopefully Sri Lanka will elect its 8th president of the Republic. Now then, candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa said the other day at a presser, he said, so many questions about the past, ask me some questions about the future. So I'll ask you, because candidate Rajapaksa isn't here, we'd love to have him on the program. I know he's very busy, but if you bump into him, tell him that we're trying to get through. I'm trying.
Okay.
Anyway, but looking to that, can you look to the future without addressing the past?
Well, we have been addressing, so for last 4.5 years, including this program, and also other programs, and also in print media, and also the other social media. So these things have been questioned. And also the government tried to fix him, not only him, the Rajapaksa family, and also some of the other people. But these things, they started from the magistrate court to the appeals court to the high court. They went to all the courts. And finally, all those allegations, they're not proved actually for us. They had ample time to bring, those culprits to book if there's anything. But they couldn't do that. Now we understand how it was. They were trying to mend the law. What Dilruksh Das Wickremesinghe did, and also how former Solicitor General was influenced by the Cabinet of Ministers, and also by the statement made by Ravi Wijegunawardena, former CID chief. So all those very clearly had shown that government had hidden intentions to fix these people, which is not the correct thing to do, and they couldn't do that. So I think it's water under the bridge now. So people do not believe in that anymore. Now let us face the elections and see what people decide.
I'm deeply grateful to the news editor of the Island newspaper, who points out that we are about to elect the 7th president
Yes.
of the country.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Mr. Ferdinando, for that. Mr. Ferdinando himself will be appearing on on Newsline. I'm not sure the exact date, but it's due shortly. Thank you for that reminder. And of course, as you all know, on Newsline, we encourage you to send us your questions by SMS only, please. 0772 300 305. We are in conversation with Dr. Ramesh Patrana, and here we go. We're getting loads of messages already. Ramesh Patrana is a son of a great SLFP politician from the south. In my view, he is on the wrong side, unfortunately. He can do better under a good leader, but not GR or MR. God bless him. I am asking the same question. Why most people fear Gota?
No, it's because of the allegations that the media mainly created. So that's what I believe. So he's otherwise
So
he's
it's
a very
media-made
I
fear
think so.
psychosis?
I
that
think
what you're
so.
saying?
That's what I try to think. Yes, and otherwise he's a very gentle person. Person who has associated him over a period of time knows. He's one side he's little tough in relation to the issues concerned. So
is he a tough disciplinarian?
we believe so. We
Is
believe
he-
so. But
is
otherwise,
he
he's
going to
you
be-
can argue, you can counter argue.
Right.
You can justify your course if you think you are on a fine or a better program
Yeah.
or a better argument. So he will surely listen to you and he will adjust by that.
Is he-
So
is
there's
he
no hardness as he's a soft-hearted person. He's a good-hearted person. I
But
must say.
will he be tough enough so as to keep certain elements who may have run riot in the past time? Is he tough enough? Or is he going to be an indulgent uncle?
Well, he can't turn around everything overnight for us, but let us give him a chance. We hope and believe that he will be a disciplinarian and he will infuse some discipline to this, the so-called, disrupted and, corrupt political culture. People are very disappointed about what's happening in Sri Lanka. It's not about party politics. Both sides, there are good people and there are bad elements. But bad elements, I must say, it's about 20%. 80% are generally okay, but they're not getting enough attention. Or the media do not highlight their activities. So it's very bad. It's a bad sort of a scenario when it comes to the media as well. So we don't get publicity to better people. But we hope that Gotabaya Rajapaksa, well, he will have to strike fine line between traditional politicians and the technocrats and the new set of people. So we will see after about a year or so, you will see a complete transformation from the current situation.
The other thing, these are the sort of questions that people have when they are considering candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa. One is of course that why is Gota almost always being accompanied by Mahinda Rajapaksa?
Well, Mahinda Rajapaksa is the political leader. His people are still looking up to him. Actually, he has such a popularity.
But Ranil Wickremesinghe doesn't accompany candidate.
So it's very clear that you really very clearly you see the answer, because Ranil Wickremesinghe is not a popular guy. He lost about 30 elections during the last 25 years. So he doesn't have to. The means, if Ranil Wickremesinghe accompanies Sajith Premadasa, it means that he will lose further votes. You see the antipathy when he made that popular claim that he would be the Prime Minister of the country if Sajith Premadasa is elected as the President.
Yeah.
So that's why. So Sajith Premadasa in that case we talk common sense to leave him aside and go ahead. So you can see
He's got a lot
that.
of common sense, that boy.
We don't know about the other things, having looked at the statements that he had made in the recent past.
Well, we
But
don't.
in relation to that,
We're not here to discuss him, are we?
Yeah, right.
We're here to discuss what candidate Rajapaksa is going to be doing. Now, the other thing, the other question, when one of your colleagues is here as well, was that candidate Rajapaksa is surrounded by people of controversy, and is he going to be very Dharmishta sort of style and only take the good and leave the bad alone from any one person? But isn't he taking the risk of sullying the whole image by having all these people who are questionable?
Well, I mentioned to you very clearly in this scenario, you take whatever the political party or who are the candidate, there are bad elements around them. So we acknowledge the fact that there are few, we can number them, we can see some of them inside the party, inside surrounding our candidate or surrounding us as well. But you can clearly demarcate this, you can clear it up overnight. Give him some time, but he's going to infuse. We strongly believe that he's going to infuse a lot of discipline and class to this political scenario. So he's not a traditional politician. He thinks laterally. So he should be able to he's looking at the issues and he's looking at the solutions.
Is he going to be able to command the respect of the members of parliament from his party? Obviously, he needs them. When he's got a rather larger-than-life figure in the form of Mahinda Rajapaksa?
When it comes to the members of parliament, I must categorically state the fact that it's all of us, the parliamentarians, wanted him to come forward and contest. When it came, so after the 19th Amendment, when it was very clear that His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa cannot contest for the third time, we were looking for a candidate. So all of us, it was a unanimous decision. Nobody questioned about anyone else. Nobody wanted to field anyone else. So everybody thought that
sort of emerged.
Yeah, everybody thought that Gotabaya Rajapaksa would be the winning candidate.
Yeah.
So he was given the opportunity to contest, and he all of us respect him in that manner, and all of us want him to all of us want him to change the political culture of this country, and we are pushing him to do that. In relation to that, even our manifesto has certain ideas. So in relation to corrupt political culture, and also whatever the benefits, undue benefits that politicians of this country receive, we're going to curtail. Take my word for that. We were having a discussion with Dave yesterday as well. With him, he was in goal. So we're very clear that we are going to see a real change politically, societally, and also economically.
There's another question. It says here, do you believe the TNA, when it says it has no demands, but it is supporting candidate Premadasa? Do you believe that?
Well, they put forward their conditions, certain conditions, including finding out a federal solution to the northern issue, and also removing certain army camps and also the security establishments in the country, and also merging northern and eastern provinces. Those are the baselines of their conditions. We don't know up to what extent Sajith Premadasa had agreed to those conditions, but those conditions were rejected by our party. We firmly believe that we can't go beyond 13th Amendment. We are talking about 13 plus, which is establishing the Senate. We can discuss about that, but 13th Amendment, full implementation of 13th Amendment, we can speak about, including land powers and the regional police powers.
Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke about it almost his entire 9 years.
So that's 13 plus, it's creating the Senate. We were recently, having a discussion. I personally spoke to His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa. We believe that Sinhalese people will acknowledge and accept a solution which will be provided by Mahinda Rajapaksa. But our party, our camp, need to be a little flexible in relation to that. Mahinda Rajapaksa is a lenient person. He can, we can tell him, look here, this is the one. You have to provide the solution to this issue.
Yeah.
He's ready to do that. But it's very clear that we can't go beyond 13th Amendment now.
And candidate Rajapaksa, this questions surrounding him. If your candidate is so clear, why doesn't he go for the debate that is being offered by other candidates?
Well, it's not the practice of this country, and also why should we go? Because now it's the request is coming from Sajith Premadasa, Honorable Sajith Premadasa. He had never appeared in a TV interview for last 3-4 years. I had never seen him appearing in a TV interview. He hasn't come here. He hasn't come to Sirasa, which is supporting him.
Well, there's a slight difference. We went to him.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but look at the. Oh, that's good. Look at the print media. Also look at the parliamentary speeches he made. I mean, he is a capable person in certain areas. We don't deny that, but he had never spoken about any critical issue during last 1.5 years. He kept silence.
Actually, that's a good point to make, because neither has candidate Rajapaksa, because he's not been in politics. But so therefore, if that is the case, then it would make it would help the people, no end. Don't you think? Two candidates being asked the same questions.
Well, yes and no. I don't see anything in relation to that. I don't see anything bad about that. If you can get the people, if you can, so now we understand. Some of the TV channels are trying their level best to get Mr. Sajid Premdasa for a interview. It's about the policy decisions. Even for that, he has not appeared. Maybe it's same thing appears to the applicable to
So we have
Rajapaksa as well.
we have two main candidates who don't want to do that. My goodness me, all the well, there are so many questions here that I don't, but they aren't. Okay, well, let's take this, right, shall we? When will so then, does candidate Rajapaksa should he be worried to take him on or not in terms of the debate? Should candidate Rajapaksa be worried?
If there will be a debate at all, they will debate about the policy issues. So it's very clearly set. We have set it out. It's in our manifesto.
Good, isn't it?
That's good. Yes, I don't think
doctors sitting down and looking at the merits of the latest tablet that's come to, I don't know, to fight fever or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, it's about the policy framework. I don't think that they will sling mud at each other. So if time permits, I don't see anything bad about having that debate.
Well, as long as they don't throw chili powder and chairs at each other, it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So he doesn't have a reputation, as you know.
Well, I want to ask you this, Dr. Patrina. You've heard accusations and allegations all your life in politics, I'm sure. But one of the biggest sort of talks amongst the political arena is the role of the media. You've alluded to that before, and so on. How would you describe us then? Do you think we are?
Well, you've been very critical about certain issues. You were in relation to the government activities. You've been very critical. I must say that you've been doing.
We've been balanced.
It was sort of balanced, like I must say. But when it comes to the election time, almost all the media had shown that they have some sort of vested interest in relation to the candidates and also about their activities. Yeah. So I wouldn't criticize you in relation to that because it cuts either way.
So overall, would you say we're balanced?
Well, at this moment I can't say you're balanced because it's you look at your TV and you look at your news segment or whatever that you allocate little longer time for a particular candidate.
Actually, I must take issue with that because we've got people out there quite literally with stopwatches. For example, this program will have to finish on time because we are trying our very best to be balanced.
Yeah,
and on our news, especially on the news, which is obviously the prime thing on television these days, we make absolutely sure that equal time is given to especially the main candidate. In fact, all candidates in relevance to.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't measure the time. If that is so, it's really good. But the image that you try to...
This is controlled at the highest levels. Our group directors are keeping their eagle eyes open. They've stopped reading this morning as well. Normally they read at this time. But, they are all on the case, so to speak. So when we go upstairs, and if we've overrun or favoured somebody, Surang Senak will have a lot to say about it. Right? So I mean, honestly, I really want to know because I'm asking a question. Do you reckon that we're balanced?
No, it's yes and no in relation to certain issues. You've been very balanced. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't watching TV that much during last couple of days because we were very busy campaigning. We heard certain, in relation to certain channels, is showing us more and probably giving us a little push.
That's on the social media. They've timed it.
In relation to your case,
17 minutes for some people and only 8 for someone
else.
Well,
if it's not so with Sirasa, it's really good. On the other hand, you cut a different image in relation to political campaigning. But hats off to you. You've been very critical about whatever the wrongdoings of our government then, and also during last 4.5 years you have done your job, and also apart from the political activities of the political field, you've been doing a lot of social work, for which we are very grateful.
And sometimes, Gomin Dasri wrote about it some time ago in an article, and he said the fruits of our labour has been letters of demand. This was where he was writing about the bond, but
yeah, that's right.
Here
yes,
we are.
Know that you've been heavily critical about that
and now during this election we've received a letter. I don't know if I can say. I'll say it. But that we've received a letter of demand claiming that we are unbalanced. So there you go.
But that's the image, not the time factor. Possibly the image that you portray to the outside world. Do
you reckon? Is it worth us being balanced? Does it help?
It is. Yes, it is. It is all the media for that matter.
Yeah.
If you try to, I personally believe if a particular channel, tries to, continue to, show support to, one particular candidate, people do not like that idea. Even for us, even for our candidate, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, if one particular channel goes ahead showing him, continuously, means people do not want to, look at that channel. They deviate from another.
Rajapaksa appreciates that it's difficult, but we are being balanced in the most challenging of circumstances.
Well, I didn't have the chance to talk to him in relation to that, actually.
Right, okay. But, I mean, as a whole, as a media as a whole.
Well, we are quite happy about election, the situation about political campaigning on the country. It's become very peaceful, and people are very educated. You get a number of channels, and also social media creates a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So people are very aware, and we do not have a particular, particular comment about particular channel. Lot of people. Let me finish. A lot of people say, the government channels are a little biased. It was so during our time as well. So people do not look at that channel.
But
it happened during our time as well.
They also say that a couple of the private owned channels are heavily in favour of some other candidate, and to the exclusion of another.
Yeah, possibly that's true. That's what I say. If you continue to show one particular candidate, it's good or bad, then people do not like that idea, because people won't change. They want to see something different, Yeah. So even we think that if our candidate is shown continuously, that channel wouldn't be preferred by the people.
I want to ask you the last question, right? Because we've come to the end, and because we're balanced, we have to finish on time. We've spent a lot of money. We've got a new set. Our new set is new, brand spanking new. It's entirely, virtually all made in Sri Lanka, planned and made in Sri Lanka, and it's mainly red. Do you think that we are supporting the JVP?
No, we know that. It's not so actually. So you can judge by the colours. That's right, Sirasa, yes.
It's Sirasa,
yes.
I'd love to keep going on today, but producer is yelling her head off that I have to finish early. Well, it's the same. Lots of people say the same thing that you've just said. If you show too much of one candidate, then the people will presume that that's there. Well, today people talk about fake news. If you don't measure it properly, the news will be perceived to be fake. And unfortunately, I can't go on about it because I had to finish. So, Dr. Patina, we do respect you, and thank you very much for coming on the program. I only hope sometimes they can duplicate people, because we can put you in a machine and get a few more of you, and then things will be much better.
Thank you for us. So hope that Sri Lanka will see a better day tomorrow, and whatever the political party that will come into power will safeguard the interests of the people, and also they will safeguard the free media interests. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patina, and thank you for your commitment, especially the fact that you came all the way from Galle, using the highway and all that, and you've got here remarkably well. Thank you, and that's the way it was on Newsline this morning. Take care, have a wonderful day ahead, and of course, God bless.